Well, based on my education and my experience, makes me the ideal candidate for the clerk of court's office. I asked this November that you look at my experience, uh, take into consideration that I am the only candidate that has any experience working in the clerk of court's office. Take into consideration that I have uh, a requisite degree in public administration that will that has taught me how to become an effective manager. And I ask that you please vote experience, vote education, and vote integrity, and vote for Richard Vincent Hill for clerk of court. Thank you.
Richard, we thank you so much for sharing with us your platform and the direction that you would like to move in if elected. So you have a fantastic evening. Thank you with all the technical difficulties that we had, but we're up and streaming now. So we are live
We
on
made
all
it.
of the
So
platforms.
we made it. So it's
I
all good.
made it. I made it. I've been back here pushing everything I can find, and
I
I'm
know.
going through this. We're live and in color. Okay, so
All right.
you take care and have a fantastic evening.
You
Okay,
too. All
all
right.
right. The next person that we have here that is running for clerk of courts is we have Jeff. And Jeff, I don't want to jack up your last name either because I'm kind of good at tearing up names. All right.
That's
Jeff is running for clerk of courts. And so what you have is 1 minute for introduction, 5 minutes for questions and answers, and then 1 minute for your conclusion. So give us your 1 minute introduction, and then we'll share some questions with you.
very good. Good evening, Pastor. Good evening, Ms. How is everyone doing tonight? I I am a lifelong resident of the city of Youngstown. I practice in the Youngstown Municipal Court System, in the Court of Common Pleas, and in various parts of Northeast Ohio as an attorney. I have considerable experience as both a prosecutor and as a defense attorney. I have not only a law degree from Cleveland Marshall College of Law, but I also have a Master of Laws in Litigation and Dispute Resolution from the George Washington University in Washington, D.C. I hope to become the next clerk of courts in order to modernize it, much as Mr. Hill has said. It's been years behind in bringing that technological component of the clerk's office to fruition, and it's got to happen soon. If the Cleveland Clinic and several clerks of courts around the state and the country can be paperless, so should the Youngstown Municipal Court. It should also be much more user-friendly in terms of language barrier issues. And I also have an attorney on staff full-time. The clerk's office does reviews of all charges, and best practices would dictate that it be an attorney to do that. Currently, there is no attorney in the clerk's office, and there should be, much like the clerk of courts of Mahoney County. Thank you.
So the first question I have for you: what experience and qualifications do you have that would make you the best candidate for the clerk of courts?
Well, I think my time, 30 so years as an attorney, is the best qualifier. I also think that my administrative experience, both as a prosecutor several years ago, as a law director, as a magistrate from Youngstown Juvenile Court System over on East Scott Street. I then had the opportunity to become Mayor Brown's law director and supervise the staff of approximately 10 people, depending on how many lawyers we could keep there. So I have the experience to handle people, and also I understand the kinds of people who come into the clerk's office and need assistance, and recognize that we have to do better.
So, with that being said, you mentioned adding an attorney to the clerk of courts at the forum at New Bethel.
Yes, sir.
What will that do to the budget, and how would it benefit the office?
Well, in terms of the budget, I don't know that there'd be an extraordinary burden, because what you really need is a part-time lawyer in addition to my skills as an attorney. Every morning there are charges that come from the prosecutor's office, and routinely now what happens is that a civilian reviews the four corners of that document to determine whether it's probable cause. I just don't think a civilian without legal experienced in an education should be the person who reviews those documents for probable cause. So I think those are the kinds of things that we need an attorney for. And because it should be a part-time position, I don't think that the burden would be any greater than any other person who's down there now.
So tell us, why do you want to be the head of the clerk of courts?
Well, I'm ready in my career for a new challenge. I love working with Mayor Brown, and I also know that I think that there needs to be a better conduit for constructive growth in the clerk of court's office, and a better relationship between the and the city. Mayor Brown has gone out of his way to try to form a coalition with the courts and with the clerk's office, and I think he's running some resistance, and that the clerk's office, a friendly face and a friendly voice.
Give us your closing statement.
Pastor Harrison, I know that my legal skills are warranted in the clerk's office and necessary. I also know that we need to be much more user-friendly to the public. There is currently no place for people with from other lands and other languages to have access to the clerk's office in any meaningful way. There are clerks of courts around the country that have as many as 10 or 20 different languages that you just hit a button and you have a much better explanation in the language of the person coming from another country to understand what his or her rights and obligations are in the court system. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Jeff. We appreciate you taking time and sharing with us on this evening. You have a fantastic evening.
You too, Pastor. Have a good day.
All right. So we're wondering where some people are. Let me take Kim out of this so you can see just me. Let me share with you that we had major technical difficulties. StreamYard had a mind of its own. It was doing what it wants to do. But by the grace of God, we were able to get this back up and running appropriately so that we could share with you what is what. So here's part of the problem. I had to send out another link to those that are participating, and there's a possibility that they are still struggling with that new link. And Kim is doing everything in her power to make sure that everybody comes on board to share with us on this evening. So we're going to kind of bounce around a little bit. We're going to kind of do what we need to do so that we can be fair. So I personally want to apologize for the technical issues that took place. There wasn't much I could do about it. Again, if you know anything about technical, whatever, you know, it does what it wants to do when it wants to do it. And we're going to move forward. I do see a few people who are on here, and we can bounce around until Kim is able to contact these other persons and let me know if I need to resend that link to them so that they can get on board. And again, I apologize to the participants. I apologize to those of you who are watching. You know, we usually don't do this, and this usually doesn't happen like this. But I believe that we're just going to persevere and do what needs to be done. Okay. Well, we do have here with us Tiffany Patterson. She is, there we go. She is running school board. And so you got a minute for introduction, 5 minutes for questions and answers, and then 1 minute for your conclusion. So Tiffany, we're in your hands.
Okay, hi. First of all, thank you, Pastor Harrison and Union Baptist Church for this forum. Thank you for inviting me. My name again is Tiffany Patterson. I'm a graduate of South High School, a member of Greater Friendship Baptist Church. I'm just a product of the Youngstown City School District. It'll always have a place in my heart. I'm currently running for a second term for school board. The last 4 years have been a roller coaster, ups and downs, but the current school board, we're proud of some of the accomplishments that we have made, including the new turf over at Rand Stadium. What else we do? The first annual Youngstown Honors. It was an employee recognition dinner. It was very successful. And so far, the district, we have achieved more than half of our required benchmarks by the state. So that's a big deal for us. Some of the downs include, the strike, which we're so glad that it is over, but we persevered and we made it through. And I just want to let everyone on here and everyone else know that I was on the board when we created the benchmarks for our academic improvement plan, and I would like to be on the board to see it through.
All right. I have a question for you.
Okay.
This one is directly to you. Since there are speed signs all over the city with cameras and tickets are being issued for going over the speed limit, what is the money that is collected, what is it being used for?
I don't want to misspeak, but I think the city mostly gets the money generated from those speed cameras, not the districts. Those speed cameras were put up by the city, not the school, not Youngstown City School, because they're more than just in Youngstown City School District. They're also by Ursuline and parochial schools that aren't part of our district. So we don't get most of that money.
Okay. The next question is, with the possibility of the State Board of Elections being dismantled by the governor, how do you think this will impact Youngstown City School District? And what will you do to make sure the progress we've made will be successful and continue to benefit our children and the community?
That's a good question. Unfortunately, public education is under attack, not just in Youngstown, but all over the state, all over the country. Me personally, I don't think it would be a good idea to have the governor appoint people to the state school board. It should be elected just like it is locally. It should remain an elected position. They currently have I guess you can call it a restraining order, where the governor they want him to stop trying to push it forward his agenda so they can relook at this. All I know that in Youngstown, we're just going to keep moving forward, keep trying to help our students, our scholars succeed. And that's all we can do on a local level so far. We have written legislators asking them, to reconsider that, but it's out of the local hands, and we don't support a state taking over them.
Let me ask this question. What new ideas involving teachers from each grade what new ideas involving teachers from each grade level would you bring to the schools to evaluate the students' achievement?
Well, we currently, our superintendent, he has committees, and I just would encourage all the teachers to get involved in these committees. That way they have more say-so in the work that they're doing and the work that our scholars are doing. So I would just encourage them to keep joining these different committees. They say they have no say in, the work that's being done, but that's why these committees are formed, so teachers can be involved and have more say-so in everything that's going on in the schools from K all the way up through 12, preschool as well.
Give us your closing statement.
Again, I'm running because I'm passionate about the scholars in the Youngstown City School District. I form relationship with the scholars and some of the parents. In fact, it was a lot of the parents who encouraged me to run again. So that's what I'm doing. We need consistency. That's a key point in any organization. I think work is being done. We're progressing since we regained state control back. And I just want to be part of that progression. We've had, sometimes doing things the old way isn't the right way. We need new ideas and innovative people on the school board And I believe I'm one of those persons that can help bring new ideas and just want to do what's right, be transparent, and just get the work done for our scholars.
Well, thank you so much, Tiffany. We appreciate you being on here and sharing with us your platform and what you where your heart is concerning the students of the Youngstown school system. You have yourself a fantastic evening. Okay.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Well, we're going to jump over here. And what we want to do is we're going to jump into the first ward. And so we have with us Julius Oliver, who is the first ward candidate. And so 1 minute introduction, 5 minutes question and answer, 1 minute, wrap it up, and we'll go from there. We're in your hands, sir.
All right. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Ms. Moses, for putting this forum on. Well, I'm Julius Oliver, First Ward City Councilman, married to the beautiful Jasmine Oliver, who formerly Jasmine Sutton, have 3 beautiful children, Jada, Aria, and JL. And I am a community-minded person. I am running for First Ward again, basically to finish the work, all the things that I've started. I came in kind of as a bull in the china shop and quickly had to learn politics, had to learn how to work with people, had to learn that, you know, sometimes you can't just have your agenda be the overarching agenda when there are policies and procedures and basically a chain of command to deal with. So over the years, I've matured, I've learned. I'm still a bull in the china shop. It's just I got some velvet on my horns now, so I'm a little more careful when I'm making the moves that, you know, I feel like should be made for the city. I'm a passionate person. My passion is for the youth. My passion is for transformation. I like to show people what their options are. I like to show people in the entire city what they can do and what they're capable of. And that's what I use this platform for in both the legislative arm as well as in being a community leader.
Let me ask you this question. What do you believe to be the challenges and opportunities facing your ward?
I think the challenges facing my ward are, first of all, informational challenges. I think that a lot of the citizens in my ward and throughout the city just don't know what you can actually achieve here in Youngstown. So I think a lot of people wait for something else to come, not knowing that they can provide and they can accomplish what it is that we need. They have that gift or that information within them. One of the other biggest challenges is basically trying to get our youth to understand that they also have options and opportunities in life, and they don't have to choose the wrong things, which ultimately leads to crime. I think one of the greatest things about my ward is that it's open. It's open for opportunity. It's open for new things. You see something new opening up downtown and in the first ward all the time. If you were to look up the numbers, you would see that the first ward is bringing in economic development on a high level. I can't take all the I guess recognition or credit for that. I do have great colleagues as well as working with the mayor and his administration. But I think one of the best things is that the first ward is ripe for development, and it is being developed by those people that choose to take that risk, and the city and city council are helping them.
So what are your plans for the blight in your ward?
The plans for my blight in the ward is basically the same as it always been: empowering people to be able to take care of things themselves, as well as providing that city services to be able to help them out as well. One of the biggest things that people don't realize is, you know, it's us blighting our neighborhoods. It's us most of the time that's putting trash on the ground. So like I said, mentality goes a long way. And I think one of the biggest things we can do is to launch a campaign, something on the level like I Love My City, where it's branded everywhere, where you can see like, something that's telling you to put your trash in the trash can or keep your grass cut. One of the things I'm doing for Blight is I got with a young man named Daniel Littles. We paid him to do work for each Block Watch member that signed up for it. A lot of people end up signing up for it, and what it does is it beautifies the frontage of your home, or it cuts your grass if you can't afford it, things of that nature. The last thing I'm planning on doing is a home maintenance and repair plan with Needle's Eye. We put $100,000 into that program. So what it does is it teaches you how to maintain your home when it comes to curbside appeal, when it comes to painting your house every so often. Also, it goes into home repair, whereas it'll help you if you need like windows or steps or anything on the facade of your house repaired as well.
The last question that I have for you, is it true that the work on Federal Street downtown is in preparation for driverless buses? If yes, why do we need driverless buses?
No, I wouldn't say that the work on Federal is for that. There is a autonomous vehicle that's been a part of the plan for the Build 2 or Smart 2 ever since we went to Washington and got that money from the Secretary of Transportation. There is an autonomous vehicle that's designed to run from the WRTA station, the college campus, through downtown, and formally up and through the east side to connect basically all sides of town. The original plan was if Chilcan was to succeed, it was designed to be able to take people from downtown over to the Chilcan plant for work. But that vehicle will still be in operation, even though Chilcan is debunked. But it won't specifically be for Federal Street. It's to get all around, basically bringing Youngstown into the realm of technology and moving forward in a progressive manner.
Give us your closing statement.
Well, my closing statement is basically I think I've had an unprecedented run in this seat. I don't know too many people that have been able to accomplish the things that I've been able to accomplish in such a short period of time. And like I said, I don't attribute any of that just to myself. I do have great colleagues. I don't suggest anybody switching up right now because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of money being spent to improve the city. And I think all of us should stick around to be able to see that through, along with our current mayor. I will continue to be passionate about what I do in this seat. I will continue to take every single person in my ward with me in this seat every time it's time for me to make a decision. I would encourage everybody to vote logically and not emotionally. Vote as informed as possible and not, in a manner of which you're being manipulated by certain people who promise to do what your current council people are already doing or have already done. Vote for me, November 7th, Julius Oliver. I promise that I will continue to be your voice, the voice of the people, and continue to fight for great things in Youngstown.
Thank you, Councilman Oliver. Thank you so much for sharing your heart, your vision, and your aspirations, as well as your record. And so you have a fantastic evening and take care now.
All right, y'all take it easy too. Thank you.
We have with us Councilman Mike Ray. I believe he's on here. And so I'm going to, okay, he's not coming up. Oh, there we go. Wait a minute. There we go. We've got him. Okay. So Mike Ray, 1 minute introduction, 5 minutes question and answer, 1 minute for your closing statements, which begins right now.
Sure. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate that you do this. And I think the digital format's great, so we can let a lot more people see it from the convenience of their home. I'm running for re-election. Fortunately, I'm unopposed this time. I think my track record speaks for itself. We have a good council that works well together. Again, we have a good team there. We just heard from Councilman Oliver. very honest and straightforward about learning the position and maturing. This is one of those jobs where, you kind of a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year. And the longer you're there, your view tends to change and things come into perspective. I liken it to a camera lens. Sometimes it's out of focus and it's in focus. We have a lot of great things going on in the city and a lot of responsibility right now, especially with the ARPA funds and things that are happening. Also, we have a council that's partially mature enough now. Folks have been there to understand how to implement policy. When we're in meetings, we're talking about how do you codify things so that they are able to be set forward. So as administrations change, as folks change, the priorities are set. So the administration has some guidance on how we agree a city should operate and run. Things like corridors, when you're approving corridors, what's the standard for that? So I think those are some of the things that as you mature in office and have a larger perspective are some things that you bring to the table that are important.
So let me ask you this question. Bortz Field Park is in such deplorable condition. What ideas do you have to revitalize the park? How would the revitalization of the park be paid for?
So we did set aside funds from ARPA for that. I agree the condition of Bortz is unacceptable. And we had talked about in committee as a whole of the city council is to what's a standard for a park, what should it have, basics from swings, playground features, and we should fund all of the parks that are viable with that. And then from there, if anyone wants to do anything additional, putting in additional ARPA funds. So there's 500,000 earmarked from the general ARPA that we earmarked for the parks. And then I'm planning on putting at least another 500,000. We did do some community engagement outreach to solicit. I think one of the best things to do is actually meet with some consultants and look at what industry tells us and what the best use and feature is. I don't think it makes sense to put features or sporting activities in a park that don't meet our constituents. That still is about 9 acres, but in reality, that still is a neighborhood park. And the folks who are going to use it are going to be the people in the neighborhood, the youth in the neighborhood, the seniors. We know we do have a large senior population in that area, so we want to make sure that there's recreation that meets their needs as well as younger folks too. So whether that's, sports fields or, there was discussion on skate park, things they want to make sure that the barrier to entry to do some of these sports though too, it's not too high that the neighborhood folks can't participate. So that's a concern I want to make sure we address.
The next question I have for you. The voters passed a charter amendment to limit council members to 2 4-year terms with the effective date of January 1st, 2023. Why do people like yourself who have held council seats since 2010 able to run for council again? Why are the voters not getting what they overwhelmingly voted for?
Well, the folks that put that forward probably should have done some research and understood what they did. When you pass law in the affirmative, so laws are passed going forward. You don't pass laws retrospectively. That's nearly impossible to do. There are some situations where you can. So they didn't understand what they were doing. And any situation you would have passed a change in term limits is the next effective date when people are reelected. So that is how it's done. Maybe that was their intent, but you need to know what you're doing. And just simply because you believe something should be the way and you didn't do it correctly doesn't mean you get to do that. We're bound by laws. We're bound by the Constitution. We're bound by the charter. And changing those things have to be done procedurally and procedurally correct. So I understand the intent, but knowing what they were doing and when it passed, consulted with our law department, legal counsel, and this simply they didn't pass something they thought they did.
Give us your closing statement.
I'm excited for the opportunity for another term. There's a lot of good things at play. I've done a lot of work, and it takes time to pass things. Mahoning Avenue is making progress. Some of those projects have been going on since my last term in office. I think experience matters. I know experience matters. A lot of folks will say you get the rhetoric that you need new people, vote them out, but there's no other position where you really don't want experience. You wouldn't go to a doctor that's just starting out. You wouldn't hire the carpenter that's building his first home. We have folks and legislators that care. Look at our track record. There's a good push and pull between us and the administration. At the end of the day, you have legislators in City Hall that take their job seriously, that put their heart and soul into what they do, and they're not obstructionists. We get things done. We're moving the ball forward, and the city's continued to make progress. We didn't get where we're at overnight. No one flipped a switch. And we've had slow erosion in a lot of areas, but we're working to get us back to where we need to be. And we're using all those resources. So I think we have a great team down there. I'm proud to serve with the other members on council. And I think their track record speak for themselves, and vote for experience, because that's what you're going to get if you reelect us.
Thank you, Councilman Mike Ray, for your time, your dedication, and your commitment to a better Youngstown. So with that being said, you have a fantastic evening, okay?
Thank you, and I appreciate you doing this.
We now have with us Corrine Sanderson, and she is running for Clerk of Court. So you have a minute to introduce yourself, 5 minutes for a question and answers, and then 1 minute to wrap it up for us. Okay, we're in your hands.
Absolutely. Again, my name is Corinne Sanderson, running for Clerk of Court. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I am a single mom. I'm a former school board member. I am a paralegal by trade. And my foundation really came from being on the school board, understanding policy and procedure, and having an operational managerial experience that sets me apart from the opposition that's in this race today. And I would like to bring that to the Clerk of Courts. I think we can build a better government from the ground up. And I want to make sure it's accountable, it's transparent, and that our office is service oriented. And I think the best way to do that is making sure we have a performance audit, following those policies from the state auditor, and me bringing back some private sector policies and procedures to clean up that office.
So let me give you your first question.
Yes.
What experience and qualifications do you have that will make you the best candidate for Clerk of Courts?
Great question. I just went over as far as I'm the only candidate that's actually held public office. On the school board, we had a budget of $160 million. Well, here we'll be actually having a budget of less than $3 million. I do know it's over budget. I will be looking at that budget because that's a concern of a lot of taxpayers that I talk to. They want an efficient ran office, but when it comes to their dollars, they want to see how I can reduce it. That's the most important thing that stands out when it comes to government is the taxpayers and what their needs are.
And so what would you do to improve the Clerk of Court's office?
Well, the one thing I would like to use is the resources. They do have the Ohio Municipal Clerks training that's available for them. And I know right now there is a dilemma where there's a lawsuit that's going on currently with the clerk's office because an error was made. It was a human error of putting a block warrant on a person's license when, by law, it should have been an impoundment or where you immobilized the actual vehicle. So that's a human error. It's not a tech error or a computer error. So making sure that everyone is well trained as far as that office. And, the problem is right now that I'm seeing is that, both parties that's running for this office, the department that is actually in the complaint will be the ticket and parking office. And then the attorney for the clerk's office is the other opposition. So it's going to be a conflict of interest. I don't know if they've had that conversation of, maybe I should, one of them should drop out the race because of it. Because, as far as being an attorney, you can't have a conflict of interest. You can't run against the person in office and be their attorney at the same time. So that's a matter that's going to have to get cleared up. And when I get it, me being in office, that's a mistake that we don't want to make because that's going to be costly to the city.
So let me ask this question. Why do you want to be Clerk of Courts?
That's also a great question because I had been in school board and I was focused on the school board when my children were in school. And I do see a need. And whenever I see a need and if I see that I'm qualified and I can help, I want to do it. And I have that practice from, private sector that I can bring some of those policies, to downtown. I know a lot of people have been there doing the same thing for years. Well, everything changes. Seasons changes, our body changes, and so how we govern ourselves, we have to change for improvement as well, too. And that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that we are efficient and a well-oiled machine, that when anybody walks into that office, that they know for sure that people are confident in their job duties and they're going to be treated with the dignity and respect that they deserve.
Give us your closing statement.
Well, I would like to say that one thing I want you to know is that I am a woman of my word. And when I set my heart and my mind to something, I do it. I believe that we can make changes downtown. I'm different from most politicians or public officials. I'm not here for a paycheck. I do have a job already, private sector. So I'm not a candidate that my job is going to end January 1st. I want to use my experience and my education to improve that government downtown. And I want to be someone that's different. I want you to hold me accountable and make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I promise you, if you vote for me, you will not be disappointed. And I appreciate your vote. November 7th, make sure you remember Corinne Sanderson.
Corinne, thank you so much for being with us and participating and sharing your heart and your goals. You have a fantastic evening.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Well, we are out of candidates because some of them I'm still sending links to. Let me say it one more time that I do apologize for the technical difficulties that took place. I am so sorry, especially to those candidates who are having a real difficult time in getting on. So, Juanita, what is the name you're on by? Because I don't see you. And so I just wanted to share that because I there's nothing else I can do about that. And we're just grateful to God for that. Okay. So Juanita said that she is on, but I don't see her. We have already gone through First Ward council persons, and Tiffany, all of them have already been on board. And so we're going to move forward. I saw Anita Davis for just a second. She was on and then she was gone. And so hopefully somebody will get on here that had done what needed to be done so that we can continue to move on and do what needs to be done. And I wanted to share with you that the Honorable Judge Carla Baldwin texted me and said that she would not be able to participate in the forum on tonight. And so we're thankful to God for her giving us notification that she would not be able to do so. So I'm going to give it another minute or so. And then after that, I'm going to wrap this up because I don't want to waste the people's time. Resend. Okay. And I just firmly believe in doing just that. So give me a second. From what I understand, Jimmy Hughes needs the link sent to him again. And maybe what I'll do, and she's going to get mad at me when I do this, but maybe what I'll do is I'll have maybe Kim come on when she's done talking to people. She's talking to people. And share with you a little something, but I don't want her to unmute just yet because she's talking to people so that she can try to get them on here. So y'all give me a second. Juanita, I still don't see you. And so I don't know what needs to be done in order to get you on. So as soon as I do this, I am multitasking as we speak. So I want to do this, get this out here, and go from there. New email is out. Everything is out. And we're going to go from here. So I'm going to wait another minute for the others to get on board? Because no, ma'am, I do not see him. I just sent it to him again. And okay, they can hear me, but I can't see them. And I need to see them in order for me to be able to bring them on board. So what they need to do is get out and come back in. I want to do this real quick. It's saying backstage. I don't. Did you? Yeah, there is another link. Let me send that to you, Juanita, because we were having all kinds of problems with the first link. So let me send you the new link so you can have that. And again, I don't even know how to say I'm sorry anymore. Nothing like modern technology. Okay, Juanita, I just sent it to you. Let's see if you can get on board now. Okay. Let me know. I should see you as you come up. And again, this is not one candidate. Stop. Bless the Lord. Looky here. Looky here. We have another person who is running for school board in the person of Juanita Walker. You have 1 minute to introduce yourself, and then there will be 5 minutes for questions and answers, and then 1 minute for your closing statement. We're in your hands, young lady.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you to Union Baptist Church Core Ministry for the invite for tonight's discussion. For those who don't know me, I am Juanita Walker, and I'm excited to be running for re-election for the Youngstown City School Board. As a lifelong resident of Youngstown and a product of the public school system and a graduate of the Rand School, I know how important it is for equity and equality when getting an education.
Fantastic. I'm trying to find the questions for. Well, let me ask this one. What do you feel qualifies you to be a member of the school board?
What qualifies me is I live in Youngstown. I went to Youngstown Public Schools. I know when I was going to school, I know some things that needed to be changed, needed to be tweaked. When my son was in school, and just working with him and going through the things I went through with him during the school, and working with the teachers and administration and the board during that time. I understand that there's a deficiency, and so I feel qualified just going through the system myself, having a child go through the system, as well as nieces and nephews and other people that I know go through the system. I know what is deficient and I know what is needed, and so I feel qualified with my education as well as my experience as a student and as a mother that I'm more than qualified to be on the school board.
So the next question is, with the possibility of the State Board of Education being dismantled by the governor, how do you think this will impact Youngstown City School District? And what will you do to make sure the progress that has already been made will be successful and continue to benefit our children in the community?
Right now, I do know that there is an order right now for them not to do anything. I know the governor is going to do whatever he's going to do, but right now it's to stay. And we do have a superintendent that we will report to. But as far as our district, we're just going to move forward with our initiatives that we have in place. We have our AIP plan that we need to continue to show progress and achievement on. We're meeting 16 out of those 24 benchmarks. We have a lot of initiatives in place that we're working with our current superintendent and leadership. And so we're just going to move forward and continue with those initiatives and with our AIP plan and along with our other plans that we have in place to ensure that our scholars are getting the quality education that they need. So we're not going to stop doing what we have to do on our end because of what they're doing at the state. We're going to continue to move forward so our students don't have to worry about what's going on there.
Next question is, what new ideas involving teachers from each grade level would you bring to the schools to elevate the students' achievements?
As I said, we have a lot of initiatives in place, and what our current leadership is doing right now is getting and just reintroducing to those teachers the opportunity to be on some of these committees that we have. And I encourage the teachers and those other employees to come on to those committees. So you want your voice to be heard, let your voice be heard, get your input in there so we can help our students achieve what they need to achieve. You know, you see it, you're on the front line, so you know what needs to happen, what needs to be implemented. So when you have that opportunity, take that opportunity so you can lead your students to show that growth and achievement that you so desperately want.
Give us your closing statement.
During my time on the board, I know that to be an effective member in this role requires collaboration, understanding, and being able to move forward for the best for our scholars, even when we don't agree. And that includes making tough decisions for a whole and not just for a group or a person. So go to the polls November 7th and vote Juanita Walker.
Anita, thank you so much. Thank you for hanging in there with us with all these crazy technical difficulties that we had. And you have a great evening.
You too. Thank you.
We have now with us Councilwoman Anita Davis. If you would unmute at this time. Hey, you made it. You made it. Okay. You have a minute to introduce yourself and then 5 minutes for questions and answers, 1 minute to wrap it up. So we're in your hands.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Okay. It has been a challenge these past couple of minutes. Hi, my name is Anita Davis. I'm councilwoman for the 6th Ward of Youngstown, and I am glad to be here, and I'm glad we got through all these little kinks and things. I have been a resident of the 6th Ward my entire life. I'm a graduate of South High School. I'm a Warrior, and I graduated from Youngstown State University back in years ago with a degree in Russian and Soviet studies. I served with the Youngstown Police Department for nearly 36 years. After that, I was a reserve deputy with the Mahoney County Sheriff's Department. I want people to know that I like being on City Council, and I like being here to serve them. And I would hope that this is my introduction. And that's all I want to say is an introduction, because I'll let you get to the questions and answer. It's a lot easier for me that way. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me look here. The first question that I have for you: what will you use the remainder of the ARP funds for in your ward?
I've passed legislation that's it's under about $700,000 worth of legislation so far that's been earmarked. There are things that I want to do additionally. I still, out of these dollars, I have a sidewalk program, a tree cutting program. And let me explain about the tree cutting. That's about taking down the trees on vacant lots that are right next to occupied homes. I really think that's important. I've had so many people from my ward who've called me because during the storm, the trees have come down from next door and landed on their houses and in the garages, and they've had to replace them, and we were not able to help them in the past. This time, this is not going to take care of all the trees in my ward that are at vacant lots, but it will get to a whole lot of my hope. So that, and I want to do that because it's a safety factor. It is a safety factor. You should not have to worry about that tree at the vacant lot coming down on top of your house. Now, if the owner was there, that lot at that place, they would be responsible for taking that tree down. But that thing is empty, and we can't wait around while we try to hunt down individuals who are nowhere to be found. So there's money allocated for that. I have monies that are allocated for a ward-wide cleanup because, again, we have so many vacant properties and so forth that are just littered and full, overgrown, filled with debris. In addition to that, we purchased the McDonald's building up on Market Street. That's going to be a community center as well as a substation. Now, the building cost $160,000, but that building has to be renovated, and then it has to be fully staffed, etc. It has to be furnished. The equipment has to be brought in. So that's going to take care of about $700,000 additionally in order to bring that thing all the way up. If there are any dollars left over, okay, of the general $2 million, which is what I guess they're talking about, and that's what they're talking about, is that $2 million that was allocated to each ward, then anything that's left over, we would like to see that put into more sidewalks, into providing for our senior citizens. I'm very much acutely aware, because I am one, of the situation with our senior citizens. They need solar, they need security lights. They need to be brought up to par on the internet. I have a program to do in-home training for our senior citizens on the internet at no cost. These things are at no cost. Okay, please understand that.
Let me ask you another question, Councilwoman.
That's my baby, by the way, but go ahead.
I hear you. I hear you.
I love them.
Why was the 300 block of West Laclede Avenue paved, but the 400 block of West Laclede was not?
Okay, what I do, and I've explained this at my town halls, Coffee and Conversations is my town halls. And what I do is I pave streets a block at a time, not whole streets. If you pave one street or two streets, the entire street, literally, you don't get any other areas. So what I've done over the years is I take them in sections. Okay, if you look at Hilmer Street, it's completed in the 6th Ward. It's totally completed, but it took 3 years to do that. Firmly 3 years. Different streets. So over the years, block by block, this way I'm able to spread this thing out. Okay, and I had hoped that we were going to get to that other block, but it will have to be done next year.
Okay.
Because no, everything has to be done equitably.
Okay. Give me your closing statement, young lady.
Oh my gosh, I'm right there. Well, I want people to know that I have worked for you. Okay, that is my dog who's snoring in the background. But I've worked for you. I've been committed to my ward. I'm not going anywhere. I haven't been bouncing around. You know where to find me. I think my record speaks for itself. I've learned how to work with my colleagues. That is so important. And we are working together, and you can see the steps that we made. We made progress, but we absolutely have to have work to do. And if we have to start back brand new again, we'll be just that, back to word go. Right now, we're right in stride. We're hitting it. We're operating on all cylinders, and we have the means to do it because we have these dollars that we need to make into lifelong, over generations, not just here today for our immediate satisfaction, but for down the road. And you can trust me with your dollars.
Councilwoman Anita Davis.
So again, thank you again for having me, and vote for Anita Davis, November the 7th, 6th Ward City Council. Thank you, sir.
Councilwoman Davis, thank you so much for being with us. And we're not going to disturb your dog. Let your dog go ahead and rest, okay?
I know they heard him. Okay.
You have a good evening, okay?
You too, both of y'all.
we now have with us Councilman Jimmy Hughes. He is here. You have 1 minute to introduce, 5 minutes for questions and answers, 1 minute to wrap it up. That's how we roll. We rolling hard, and I appreciate you tolerating the craziness that happened with the electronics. So I thank you for that. Okay. So go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll go from there.
How's my sound, Pastor? I just want to make sure that we don't have more hiccups here.
No, we're running smooth. So you actually got 7 minutes total for everything.
Okay, I'm just talking about my volume. My phone sometimes act up. So we good.
Yes.
I want to thank everyone, Kim, for hanging in there, keep making him send me more links. And the pastor here as well. Union Baptist is a special place in my heart and shall always be. Putting that aside, my introduction is that history with Union Baptist. My lovely wife Juanita, and we got married in Union Baptist, right out there in front. And I still looked at a picture today of us standing in front of the sign, after our wedding. So that being said, I have a history with Youngstown itself, East Side especially, what I have done and back and forth. I'm only running, and I think it's a progression of what I have been and what I was doing is for the privilege to serve the people of the East Side of Youngstown, and it don't really have anything more than that. I am thinking that I am the only one qualified to serve the people in the city of Youngstown, on the East Side of Youngstown at this particular time. Now, that being said, that's what I like to just move to the questions and we can go from there.
Let me ask you this question. What plans do you have to assist senior citizens with home improvement projects?
I'm kind of glad you asked that question, because in my ward, I probably have the most, other side, the most senior citizens, which I have to be proudly say I'm one of them, and I don't have a problem acknowledging that. But I probably have the most. I have the most widowers type living in their homes by themselves, not able to do the yard work. Everything I've done so far has been geared toward making sure that they are taken care of in the most way. I set up a grass cutting program this year. It was in the beginning of the stage. It's going to continue on next year. It would be 1,000 times better next year. That they don't have to pay for get their lawn. They don't have to get out there and rake up their leaves. We will have somebody do that. And everything about them needing something more, I did a lot of interviews, and my whole ARP is kind of directed toward helping the seniors, helping whatever they need. And there's a lot of need. Obviously they can't go out and shovel their own snow. They can't do it. I'm trying to make those needs. I'm trying to meet them. I talked to someone just recently for those, but there's a lot of needs, and I'm trying to meet each and every one of them.
So with that being said, what will you do to improve the streets and roads on the East Side?
Well, most of my constituents, a lot of my constituents, not most, do say that that's the number one problem. This year, I think I paved more roads than has been, and I probably paved the most, resurfaced the most roads this year. But it is a concern, and I do get that constantly, and people are saying that the East Side is forgotten. We come through a pandemic, we run across sums of money. I would like to use a great portion of the ARP money, to come back and do the roads. And I done. I put the most, I think I put at least as much money into repairing our sidewalks. I've had our sidewalks and some of the streets done, and I've done that even with special monies. I've got organizations that come out and do it without it. There are improving. It's just not as fast as some may want to think. But, you got to remember, this is all program schedule going out for bids, but we did a lot, and we continue to do a lot.
Let me ask you another question. What would you do in order to bring a grocery store back to the East Side?
Whatever it takes. That's what I would do. You tell me what I can do to get it there, I'm going to do it. I'm not saying I don't want a grocery store. I want a grocery store. Tell me how to do it. Tell me what I have. I'll spend every dime of my money to get a grocery store. And I want to mention this. It's not just the East Side. Youngstown has no grocery stores nowhere.
Mhm.
So even if we collaborated and put together, now grocery stores is private enterprise, private businesses. But what I can do, you tell me what I'm not doing, and I tell you, that, let's go in front of the court and see that. I'm doing whatever I can to get a grocery store on the East Side.
With that being said, with the demolition of so many vacant houses in Youngstown, do you have any plans to create affordable housing?
Yeah, I partnered with Habitats. I just talked to Habitats Humanity, just not just the new guy that took over that, or he moved up the ladder, whatever the case may be. I talked to all the organization that wants to build. I'm all for that. I got no problems with building houses, but you got to remember one of my problems on the East Side, I got a lot of houses that need to be torn down, and I can't get them down. We're working on doing that, and I'm hoping that we speed up. Back in the day when we had the 2010 plan, they set aside $1 million to tear down homes, in Youngstown. That was part of the 2010 plan. Now we back at that. I have probably the least houses being torn down. I'll admit that, but I am trying to get them torn down. And building, I don't have a problem with building houses. I think people are saying, oh, I want to build houses. I want to create jobs. It's the thing that the administration wants as well. There's nobody in this system that don't want to build houses or don't want to have more jobs. And I'm in the forefront of trying to get it done, whatever it takes.
Give us your closing statement then, Councilman.
My closing statement is probably a remark dealing with some recurring thing that I hear. There seems to be like some taboo because you've been around for a while, you're experienced, and you have the most education, or you have the most this, and it's like that's something like I never got in trouble. I'm not a criminal. So it seems like when people come up and they're friendly with criminals, they may have criminal backgrounds themselves. They want to point fingers at us because we were not like them. I'm saying this. I got no problems with anybody what they're doing. God forbid, give the person a break, let them reprieve, but don't knock experience. Don't knock qualifications. Don't knock education. That's what we strive for our whole lives. Now that we went through this, period, that's what I'm saying. They're wrong for saying that experience, qualification, and abilities don't matter. It really does.
Councilman Jimmy Hughes, thank you again. I appreciate you going through this technological madness that took place so you can share your heart and your aspirations for your ward. You make sure you have a good evening, and thank you so much for being with us.
I appreciate it, Pastor Kim. You the best thing on that stage, so we'll move on past that with the pastor. I'll see him in the alleys. No, just joking, Pastor. Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
I got one more person that I'm trying to bring on. Kim, you have anything you want to say while I try this, and then I think we will have approached as far as we are going.
The only thing that I would really like to say at this moment is thank you to everybody, like Pastor said, for putting up with us. There are 2 more people that we're trying to bring forward, and we're working on it, but we should still be done on time by 8 o'clock. So if everyone would just hang in here with us for a few minutes, but just know that we truly appreciate you. I can give you my remarks, which are to be sure and encourage everyone to vote. Everyone's vote and voice matters. And we just need to make sure that we put the people in office that will do the best job for the citizens of the city of Youngstown. So with that, I'm going to mute out, Pastor, and keep doing what I'm doing. Okay. And I'll be back.
I just sent the link back out again. And while we're waiting for those two to come on board, I need to reiterate what Kim said, and I think it's overwhelmingly important. Sometimes apathy gets in the way of progress. And so if we're going to have a better community, if we're going to have a better city, if we're going to have better schools, if we're going to have better teachers, we have to participate in the process. And I think that is so overwhelmingly important. Statistics say that many times large numbers don't show up unless it's a presidential election. And sometimes other people, and that's all I'm going to say is other people, have a way of getting away with a lot of things due to the fact that we're not voting. There are studies that they have done. They have paid attention to how we vote and when we vote. And so it's overwhelmingly important. Every election is a significant election. And the reason I say that is because all politics is local. I don't care what's happening in the state. It affects the city. I don't care what's happening in DC. It affects the city. And so we want to make sure that we have the people who have a heart for the city, have a heart for people, and are willing to do what is necessary to make sure that Youngstown shines. And I'm not saying Youngstown isn't shining, but we can gloss it up a little more. And so all I'm trying to get us to see, and there's some processes that we want to look at and some things we want to try to do in order to get more people involved, especially our seniors. Because for the most part, many of them are forgotten. And so we're going to do some things to make sure that our seniors are re-engaged in the voting process. And so I don't see the other two persons, Kim. But what I do want to say, and I really mean this from my heart, I'm going to get my thank yous out of the way now. I thank God for Kim. I thank for the core team. I thank God for the work that they do, the relationships that they have built over the years is priceless. Many people want to make sure that they are part of our political forum. And so I'm going to try one more. Oh, let me try one more email while I'm running off at the mouth. But I mean every word that I say. It is so important. It is so important that we do this, that we participate, that we leave no stone unturned. We want to make sure that we engage our young people, our middle-aged people, everybody, so that they can be a part of this process. And if we don't, I'm older now, so I can't multitask as well as I used to. But if we don't get engaged, as you can see, some of the things that have passed in Columbus, some of the things have passed in Washington, is because of apathy. And so we need to make sure that we get out there. Okay. Yes, issue 1 was dealt with in the very beginning. And so, Pastor Donaldson, so thank you so much. And so this is important for us to see. And don't get upset. Don't get mad. Don't get bent out of shape when your voice is not heard because you chose not to exercise that right. Kim, I sent it to her Gmail. I don't know. And see, the reason we're doing what we're doing is because we don't want anybody to leave out of here that confirmed that we did not give them an opportunity to have their say. And that's why we're asking for you to be just a little patient so that we can try to get those last persons on. And let me share the process. I think that's important for us to also know that on many occasions, people really don't understand how we operate. But we operate through a system whereby we confirm through emails and phone calls and all the rest of that stuff by the letters that are sent out for those to participate. We don't want anybody to be left out, but we do have certain things that we do that make us who we are. And I say this all the time because sometimes, you know, we get kind of criticized for how we do what we do, but everybody's political forum is everybody's political forum. And so we're just asking that you would, bless the Lord. I'm getting ready to shout. I feel it in my bones.
Man.
Oh, we are so glad that Brenda Kimball is here. Oh, been through hard trials and tribulation, but
Amen.
I'm grateful to God for you. So we got 1 minute introduction, 5 minutes for question and answer, and 1 minute to wrap up. Brenda Kimball, who hung in there.
Thank you, Reverend Harrison. Well, as you know, my name is Brenda Kimball. I'm a product of the city of Youngstown and Youngstown City Schools, as well as my children and my grandchildren, nieces and nephews at the present. This will be my 4th term as a board member elected by the community, and I want to thank them for that. And I just plan to continue the work that I've done. I've worked to bring local control back to the school district. I helped Mr. Shad in the past board create the academic improvement plan that allowed us into Senate Bill 110, giving us a chance to gain total local control and having no academic distress commission over our district at this time.
So let me ask this question that I just laid a piece of paper on top of, and I should not have. Here it is. This is something that every school board candidate has been asked. With the possibility of the state Board of Education being dismantled by the governor, how do you think this will impact the Youngstown City School District, and what will you do to make sure that the progress that has been made will continue to be successful and continue to benefit the children in the community?
Well, that's a long question. First of all, I want to say with the state school board being dismantled, although they're challenging that, so right now it's on hold. That is detrimental to Youngstown City Schools and any other public entity that has education in the state of Ohio, because what they are doing is actually creating a House Bill 70 as they created to take over Youngstown, East Cleveland, and Lorain. So that would be detrimental to the district because they would probably then roll back and again bring House Bill 70 through, and this time take us over and charter us out. What I plan to do, what my hopes are, is that we will repurpose funding, look at contracts that have really nothing to do with educating our children, repurpose that funding towards the classrooms to help us meet our benchmarks that we can come out of this academic improvement plan and have total control.
Thank you. And so what new ideas involving teachers from every grade level will you bring to the schools to elevate the students' achievements?
Okay, see, and this is how I feel about that. Those new ideas that I would bring would have to come from the teachers themselves, because I think nobody knows better than the teachers what needs to happen in the classroom to help the students learn and to help them have the support that they need. So I would gather those teachers and have a meeting and get their ideas first. I would put those ideas into action. I would go back and reevaluate those ideas in about 30 days to see what is working and what is not working, and tweak the process and continue from there. But I don't think I am the person to have the ideas. I believe that those ideas have to come from the people who are actually in the classrooms.
So let me ask this question. Why do you want to be on the school board?
I want to be on the school board because it is, to me, the right thing to do. I've believed in this district. Again, I've been a part of the district. I've graduated from Cheney High School. My children have been in the district. I embedded myself into the district for over 20 years to see how the district works, work with the children, see what their needs were, their challenges were, and also the supports that the teachers needed. And my passion is children. I'm a Girl Scout troop leader for 12 years. I was a Sunday school teacher. I'm a nursery teacher. I just deal with children because I believe that they need our help. And if we intend for them, because people say, well, these kids are bad or whatever the case may be, but they're our future. And to me, working with children, there's just nothing better than working with children. And to help them be educated is just my passion. That's all. It's just my passion to do.
Give us your closing statement, though. You just gave us your closing statement, but give us your closing statement.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank Union Baptist for having this forum every year so that people can be informed correctly before they go out and vote. I just plan to continue to work with the community, the teachers, and I would like to collaborate with the board and hope that we could do the right thing to move the district forward. And I would just say, if you want someone who's informed, who understands bylaws and policies and understands what to do, and not afraid to speak out, even though I'm criticized, not afraid to speak out for what's right for our children, please vote for Brenda Kimball on November the 7th. And thank you.
Brenda, thank you so much. You just don't know how much I appreciate your patience. Okay.
Thank you. And thank you, Kim. All right. Have a good night. Bless you.
Be blessed now.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Kim.
Lord have mercy. I'm here. I just want to say thank you to everyone who participated. Thank you to everyone who hung in there with us, even when you couldn't see what we were doing. And because our streaming was acting up, we appreciate you. You all know how important it is to be informed, how important it is to vote. I also would like to say that this session was being recorded, so you can go back once we're done and you can actually see everything that you missed, so that you can continue to be informed. And I'm just grateful to everybody. Thank you to the core team. We're a good team. We work well together, and we're going to finish on time. It's all on you, Pastor.
Bless the Lord. I'm grateful to God again for all. I can't thank Kim and the core team enough for the hard work they do. Believe me, the phone calls, the emails, phones we was blowing up today, and we're texting each other and losing our ever-loving minds. And then the first link was bad. Couldn't hear what they got. The second link out here. Then it didn't want to. But guess what? We made it. Okay, we made it. And so we pray that for what we have done, thank you, Pastor Donaldson, for what we have done has created a more educated community to make good decisions that will better the city of Youngstown. And so with that being said, we thank you all for sharing. Again, we apologize. I can't apologize enough for what went wrong. It was out of my hands. I just did the best I knew how. And when that thing came on live, I started shouting. So we're grateful to God for that. Please vote. Please vote. Please vote. Early voting has started. Please vote. Please don't be complacent. Please get out there and vote. Take people to the polls. Do what you need to do. Text people. Do whatever is necessary to get them to the polls. Take Big Mama to the poll, and you vote while you take Big Mama to the polls. Go do what needs to be done so that we can have a better community, a better state, and a better nation. Love y'all. Gonna have a word of prayer. I'm gonna let y'all go, and then we can all breathe a sigh of relief that we made it. Our Father and our God, we thank you for this opportunity that you have given us, even in challenging times like these, that we still know the importance of participation at the polls. And so we pray, Lord, that whatever our decision is, whoever we vote for, the key is to exercise a privilege that our foreparents bled and died for. I thank you for every candidate. I thank you for their patience. I thank you for the patience of the community that waited until we could come live. And for that, we will bless your name. Give us rest tonight, Lord, because God, you know we need it after what we went through today. In Jesus' name we pray and we thank you. Amen, amen, amen. Y'all take care. Be blessed, okay? Kim, you stay on there for a minute. Because we do our little evaluation thing, and then we'll go from there. Y'all be blessed, okay?